Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the breakdown. As always, I am your host, Spencer Fannin. Now, this video is not a prediction video like my last couple, or really all the videos that I've done at least this season. This is a commentary video. This is going to be a little more rambling, a little more just off the cuff commentary type one because one, there's obviously sports going on, which is great. Obviously, the NHL is going on. They just wrapped up their qualifying rounds for the playoffs, so those are all set. MLB is in the midst of their third week back with the regular season. MLS is just about to finish up their MLS is back tournament, and then they're going to start I believe an 18-game regular season. That's starting probably in like 2 or 3 weeks. NBA, the bubble is back. This is their second week of games, and that's been going great. But this video is more about what's coming next after those, and that's the NFL and especially college sports. Now, I won't say I'm an expert on this, but I worked in college sports. I worked at 2 Division I universities, so I have some experience working in the college athletics. I'd love to get back into that. But looking at this, I want to speak my mind about it because I'm pretty active on Twitter, on probably to a detriment a little bit, maybe too active, because I keep seeing this narrative that is pushed by people that sports journalists and the sports media are they want the NFL and college sports especially to be canceled due to the current pandemic, and they want it solely because they want to be right. And I got to push back on that. I think that's just a bunch of horse. Kids, if you're watching, cover your ears. Go like this. It's a bunch of horse shit. No self-respecting sports journalist is going to want to have arguably 2 of the biggest sports in society canceled and stuff just because they want to be right about something. Because that's taking away their own livelihood. They report on sports. They rely on sports going on to get paid. So why would they even be thinking of it being canceled as a good thing? It's just so dumb. I mean, I keep seeing all this, and it blows my mind about it. I mean, I know the entire country, it's become so divided and stuff, politically, opinionatedly wise. It's like you can't seem to have a regular opinion. Someone else then has to immediately come back and say, oh, you're wrong. You can't just like, this is my opinion, I think this is what it is. And people are like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't agree, but whatever. It's like, I think it seems like we've lost that as a society. But the main topic of this video is with regards to the NFL and to college sports. Maybe this is a bit of a tinfoil hat type thing. I wish I almost had a tinfoil hat that I could put on. But I honestly think that the college football, college sports, and college football especially, and the NFL are looking at the MLB big time to see if their way of doing things during this pandemic can work. Because, yes, the NHL, the NBA, MLS, those all have worked, but they're also bubbles. That they're not letting anybody else in. You've got everybody who's already there. They've got it locked down, all that. The MLB is much different because you're traveling to different cities. Now, they've limited it to only the close, the divisions and stuff like that. And they've closed off bubbles like with the teams. They've limited the capacity because, I mean, I worked at MLB last season, and I'm not working there this year because they had to limit the amount of people going to the games. My position wasn't considered essential enough, and I completely understand that. I have no ill will toward the MLB about that. I just think that college football, especially in the NFL, they're looking at the MLB to see, this is a test case to see if we can actually do this and stuff. And I think there's a little bit of I think MLB is being pushed by those entities, the NFL and the NCAA and college sports, college football especially, to keep it going. I mean, already this is the third week of the MLB season, or the third week of the MLB season, and we've already seen two teams have to stop playing for a week plus. Currently, the Cardinals haven't played since early last week against the Twins, and they haven't played at all since I believe Tuesday or Wednesday and of last week. I'm filming this on August 9th, Sunday, August 9th. Yes, I'm correct. I don't have my watch on, so I can't tell the date, so I have to look over my shoulder. They haven't played since last Tuesday or Wednesday, and they probably won't. They might not play until this coming weekend, it seems like, because there's reports that they were supposed to play the Cubs this weekend in St. Louis and then play the Pirates. Well, it looks like they might not play the Pirates series that's supposed to start tomorrow, August 10th. So 3 more games, they lose. They're going to be playing, 55 games? They only played 5 games, I believe, all year so far. 5 or 6, something like that. They're going to play 55 games or 50 plus games in like 45 days or something like that. That's insane. The Marlins obviously didn't play for a week or so. So, and with these, and it's the travel. It's because they're not in a specific bubble. Now, you could go back. The MLB could have had the bubble. They could have been playing at just 3 different sites with all the teams in the American and National League divisions play at these 3 sites, one on the East Coast, one in the Central, one on the West Coast. They didn't do that. They thought they could do this. I don't think that is sustainable at this rate. I mean, really, the only thing, I've said this to buddies through text messages and stuff like that, if it hadn't been the Marlins first, if it had been, say, the Dodgers or the Yankees, I wouldn't have been, if they had been the team that had a breakout or whatever of the virus, I bet you the season would have been suspended and stuff. Now, the Cardinals are a higher up team. They've got a better chance of making the playoffs, so it's a little more up in the air now. But if you have another team that loses a week plus and it's a high leverage team, say the Cubs, heaven forbid, they're the only team that hasn't had a positive test, at least of players and stuff. There you go, knock on wood. Or the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Astros or one of the high level teams that could, or the Twins or something like that could push this further, that they miss out on 7 or 8 games, a week's worth of games, and have to either make them up in those 7-inning doubleheaders or whatever, just don't play 60 games. They might just shut the season down. And I think the reason they haven't done that, aside from the fact that maybe the 2 teams that have been hit by this so far aren't the highest level, most money grossing teams. I mean, Cardinals fans are going to come after me for that, but whatever. It's because the money. The MLB wants the TV revenue, and they definitely want the playoff TV revenue. That's why they expanded the playoffs this year as well. But you might end up, if this season goes through, you might have teams that only play 50 games of the 60 that are supposed to and stuff. And then how are you going to decide, okay, who makes the playoffs or whatnot? Is it winning percentage? Is it just total wins or what? And then I think there's a little bit of a push to keep the season going from NFL and from college athletics, because they're using it as a test case. The bubble has worked for the NHL, MLS, NBA, NWSL, because they got to their bubble, they tested. If they had a positive test, they would isolate, they let it run its course, and then they waited. They made sure that, and they kept it contained. MLB can't really do that if you're traveling to different cities every week or so. You're exposing it a lot more. And college athletics and NFL, they're going to be traveling. They're not going to do a bubble system. They're going to be traveling. The NFL has, on a regular active roster during the regular season, there are 53 players plus how many coaches, trainers, all that. In college athletics, college football, it's home teams have 80 players can dress. Away teams, it's like 60. Plus coaches, training, equipment, all that. Like, the more people you have on a team or in an area, the bigger the chance you get of a breakout. So I honestly think that I think the MLB season, I don't know if that's going to finish. I think they're going to try as hard as they can to make it finish, but I don't know if it will, and I certainly don't think every team is going to play 60 games. I wouldn't be surprised if a good third of the teams play 55 games or less. At least have like 4 or 5 games that are canceled, postponed because of the virus. And going into the NFL, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't, or at the very least, it's not going to happen in a straight set. You're not going to have starting in September and it's going to go all the way straight through December or January. I think you're going to have stops and starts because you're going to have to. How many college conferences are having to restructure their schedule because they're only playing all conference games or all conference but one, stuff like that. But I mean, you just had the MAC, the Mid America Conference, postpone their entire season to the spring because of the virus concerns and stuff. So it's like it's getting bigger and bigger as we get closer and closer because the NCAA and I think the NFL obviously has the professional test that they might be able to do it a little easier. But I don't think you're going to have football at least in a consistent basis this fall. I would not be surprised if everything goes and it's either pushed back till October, starting in October or November, and we play through until January or February, or it's just we don't play until the spring. I'm not the virus doctor. I don't know what it's called, epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor at all, and stuff. So this is my opinion from what I'm seeing, what kind of common sense stuff. I just don't see it happening. I want NFL. I want college football. I love it. It's my favorite type of game. It's college football more than the NFL. But I just don't think it's going to happen, at least in the sense that we think of how it might go down. It's going to be, we're either going to have stop-start or it's going to be delayed, or best case scenario is it's stop-start. Or actually, best case scenario is it's delayed. There's a delayed start, and then we play through. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to want to get this stuff started. They're going to push for it to start. You're going to see stoppages. You're going to see 2-3 weeks at a time. Teams not play at all and stuff. So, but they're looking at the MLB as a baseline, a test case for this. And the MLB right now isn't doing very well. At least it seems like. Yes, they just released a statement, I think, earlier this week that less than 1% of test cases have been positive in all their testing, which is great. But when you have a team, I mean, again, the Cardinals and the Marlins, you have one guy who gets it or one guy who tests positive, you have to shut down for 3-4 days to see how big the spread has been and all that. With the NFL, you're going to have the same thing because and college football, it's like if anybody tests positive, you have to do the contact tracing and you have to go back to see if it's how much of it has spread. So I just don't see it happening. And the fact that some members of the media, sports media, are claiming that other members of the media are pushing this narrative that we want the NFL and college football to be canceled because we want to be right about this stuff. We want it to be fear porn, as some people call it, is ridiculous. It really is. I mean, it's just so dumb. I want NFL, I want college football. I don't know anybody who doesn't want it, but you want it to be done in a safe environment. Now, yes, you say, oh, safe environment, they run the risk of injury. Yeah, but injury is not contagious. Injury is not contagious. CTE is not contagious. A torn ACL is not contagious. This virus is very contagious and stuff. It can spread very rapidly. Now, yes, high-level athletes are probably going to be able to recover from it better than other people, but we still don't know. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez of the Boston Red Sox is missing the entire season, not just because of COVID. He came in, he tried to, but he has a heart condition now. It seems because of COVID, or at least in regards to it. So that's it. That's an example. It could happen. We don't know enough about this virus and the effects of it to do it. And the people and to be honest, I think if the NCAA, if it's not safe enough for kids to be on campus, they shouldn't play at all anyway, because then it just destroys the idea that these athletes are students first and stuff. It's like if they're having if it's not safe enough for the majority of regular students to go to the university, be on campus, to attend the university, then the athletes who attend that university, the student athletes, they shouldn't either, because the NCAA has pushed this thing of these are student athletes. These are they get they're the exact same as all the other students here. They just happen to play sports here as well. Well, if you're not letting the regular students on campus, you shouldn't let the student athletes, because then it's just all about money, and it's not to give these kids that they are being put in a situation where they're athletes first rather than students. So I honestly I don't think that at the very least it's not going to be a smooth sail from here on out with football, NFL, and college, and just college sports in general, until we actually get the virus and everything under control. So we'll see. I've gone on for 15 or so minutes now rambling. So I hope I hope that we get NFL and we get college sports this fall. I just don't think it will, or at the very least, it won't be. There's going to be a new normal and stuff. It's going to be, you're going to have stop and start, or you're going to have a delay for the season and stuff like that. But there's my ramble. There's my rant, if you want to call it, whatever you want to say. That's just my opinion. And there you go. So until next time, this is Spencer Fannin signing off for The Breakdown. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any ideas that you want me to talk about, let me know, either on Twitter or email and stuff. So, or comment on the video, however you want to do it. Just let me know. Sports is back, but for how long? It's going to be interesting, because I think the NHL and the NBA will continue on because they're going to be in the bubble, but MLS is leaving the bubble soon. MLB is not in a bubble, and with NFL and college sports coming, they're not going to be in bubbles. So there you go. But till next time, Spencer Fannin signing off once again. Everybody stay safe. Have a good day. See ya.